Breaking news. Why did Song Joong Ki apologize to Song Hye Kyo on her wedding day with LeeMinHo? It was supposed to be a day of pure celebration, a new beginning for Song Hye Kyo, a radiant bride, walking into a future she had waited years to embrace. The world was watching. The cameras were flashing. LeeMinHo stood at the altar, his expression full of warmth, reverence, and awe. But behind the glamour, behind the soft music and the delicate lace, a quiet moment unfolded, a moment that would leave millions of fans holding their breath. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. Because that was the moment. Song Joong Ki, the man who once called her his wife, stepped forward. And with eyes full of regret and peace, he said the words no one expected to hear on her wedding day. The scene that stopped time. The wedding was held at a private villa overlooking Jeju Island's serene coastline. Celebrities, filmmakers, and longtime friends of both LeeMinHo and Song Hye Kyo had gathered beneath a sky brushed in gold. The ceremony was elegant, yet intimate. Soft violins, ocean breeze, vows whispered with trembling hearts. But just as the guests were seated for the reception, a ripple of whispers spread through the crowd. Song Joong Ki had arrived. He was dressed simply. A black suit, no tie, no entourage. There were no cameras flashing in his direction. He wasn't there to steal attention. He was there to make peace. For a moment, even the ocean seemed to still. The unexpected gesture. According to several insiders, Song Joong Ki approached quietly during a private interval between the ceremony and reception. Song Hye Kyo was standing near a row of white orchids, her veil gently swaying, when she turned and saw him. The world's most photographed actress, for once, froze. He bowed deeply, slowly, and then, with a steady voice, he said, "I'm sorry for everything I couldn't be." It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, the kind of apology that carries years of pain, acceptance, and peace all in one breath. Those who witnessed it said Song Hye Kyo didn't speak immediately. She simply looked at him, eyes soft, unreadable, and then, finally, she smiled. "We've both healed now," she said. And in that brief, delicate exchange, two people who had once shared the world's most public love story finally found their closure. Why he did it? According to close friends, Song Joong Ki had carried the weight of unfinished words for years. Their separation, while respectful and quiet, had left both actors scarred by public scrutiny and speculation. He had often been painted as the villain, something those close to him say deeply affected him. He always said he wished he could tell her he was sorry, a friend revealed. Not because he regretted the marriage, but because he wished he had been more patient, more understanding. He wanted her to know she was never the enemy. When news of her engagement to LeeMinHo broke, Song Joong Ki reportedly wrote a long letter he never sent. But as the wedding drew near, he made a decision. He didn't want to haunt her story. He wanted to set her free from his shadow, and set himself free, too. The moment that melted the internet. After the event, a single photo leaked online, not through tabloids, but through a staff member who later deleted it. It showed Song Joong Ki and Song Hye Kyo standing under soft sunlight, their silhouettes barely touching. Her expression was calm. His eyes looked misted, like a man finally laying his past to rest. When the photo spread online, fans were overwhelmed. Comments flooded social media. "This isn't scandal, it's healing." He apologized not to reopen old wounds, but to close them forever. Real love doesn't always mean staying together. Sometimes it means letting go gracefully. LeeMinHo's response. What happened next only deepened the world's respect for LeeMinHo. When reporters asked whether he was aware of the encounter, he smiled softly and said, "Of course. A man should be able to make peace with his past before stepping into his future. That's what love is, understanding." Those words spread faster than the story itself. In one line, LeeMinHo turned what could have been gossip into grace. At the reception later that evening, he reportedly placed his hand gently over Hye Kyo's, whispering, "Now the past can rest. Let's begin ours." Fans in tears, a full circle moment. Across social media, the reaction was unlike anything seen before. Clips from Descendants of the Sun resurfaced, scenes where Joong Ki's character promises to protect Hye Kyo's. Fans wrote how art had once mirrored their love, and now, life was closing that circle with forgiveness. One fan wrote, "He didn't ruin her day, he restored it. He gave her peace before she stepped into her new forever." Another said, "Song Joong Ki showed what real maturity looks like. Pain doesn't have to end with bitterness." Within hours, the topic hashtag Song Joong Ki apology trended across Asia, but not as scandal, as a story of redemption. Behind closed doors. After the brief encounter, Song Joong Ki reportedly left quietly, declining all interviews. He boarded an evening flight back to Rome, where he's been living quietly with his wife and child. A staff member close to the wedding shared, "He didn't stay for the party. He didn't want to take anything away from that moment. He just wanted to say his piece and go." Later that night, Song Hye Kyo was seen dancing with LeeMinHo, barefoot on the wooden terrace, the ocean wind lifting her hair. Those who saw them said she looked lighter, freer, than she had in years. The letter that followed. 2 days later, Song Joong Ki's agency confirmed that he had written a private letter to Song Hye Kyo, one she received before the ceremony. In it he wrote, "I wanted you to walk into this new chapter without looking back. You deserve every joy the world can give. Thank you for being part of my story, even if it was just one chapter long." That letter, simple and sincere, was said to have moved Song Hye Kyo to tears the night before the wedding. And perhaps that's why, when she said her vows to LeeMinHo, her voice trembled, not from sadness, but from closure. The aftermath, a new era of peace. The media tried to spin it into drama, but the public refused. Instead, the narrative shifted into something rare: admiration. Articles praised all three for their dignity. Headlines read, "No scandals, just grace, the love, the apology, the closure." And as time passed, it became clear. This wasn't the story of a love lost. It was the story of love transformed into respect, forgiveness, and peace. A man who waited for the right time. For years, LeeMinHo had admired Song Hye Kyo from afar, not as a fan, not as an actor chasing a co-star's light, but as a man who understood what it meant to love someone quietly. He had seen her rise, fall, and rebuild herself. He had watched her face the cruelty of public judgment and walk through it with grace. So when he stood at that altar, holding her trembling hands, he knew this wasn't a fairy tale. It was a promise written in the ashes of the past, a vow to love what had already been shattered. The guests leaned forward as his voice broke the silence. "When I first met you," he began softly, "I didn't see a star. I saw a soul, brave, wounded, but still shining." Song Hye Kyo's eyes shimmered. "You've loved before," he continued, his words slow, deliberate, "and you've lost before. But that doesn't make you hard to love. It makes you human. It makes you real. And I promise, I'll never try to erase your past. I'll just build something new beside it." A hush swept through the garden. Even the ocean seemed to pause to listen. The vows that brought everyone to tears. LeeMinHo's next words weren't written by a stylist or rehearsed for the cameras. They came from a man stripped of his own fame, just a beating heart speaking to another. "You once said love was fragile," he whispered, "that it can be broken if the world stares too hard. But tonight, in front of the same world that once hurt you, I want to tell them, I'm not afraid." He turned briefly toward the cameras, his tone firm but filled with quiet strength. "This is not a performance. This is real. And if protecting her means standing against the noise, then I will." Somewhere among the guests, Kim Un-suk, the writer who had brought both actors to stardom in different eras, wiped away tears. Even the staff hidden behind the curtains were seen sobbing silently. As LeeMinHo placed the ring on her finger, he added one final line that would echo across the internet within hours. "You don't need to start over. You just need someone who won't let you fall again. Let me be that someone." The final image, forever immortalized. As the last guests left, a single photographer captured one final image. LeeMinHo and Song Hye Kyo standing on the pier, backs to the camera, hands intertwined, as the sun dipped below the horizon. No more drama. No more scripts. Just two souls walking into forever.